All right. Well, welcome. We're back.
Welcome back, everybody.
3. I
Episode
know.
three. Three. We are on a roll. Check this out.
Consistency,
Hold on. Why is it saying this? Consistency.
right?
I love it. Consistency all the way across the board.
Yes,
We're practicing what we preach, baby.
exactly. And speaking of, today we thought it would be fun to talk about. Actually, someone suggested it in our comments box about topics that they wanted to, learn more about. Vacation. Basically, how do you navigate? Yeah, traveling.
Traveling.
And currently, it's July. I'm on air quotes vacation. It is like vacation for me because I'm visiting family where I grew up. This is where everyone is. So, staying at my parents' place. I don't have to cook. So that's my definition of a vacation. How about you, Carmi?
You're winning. I mean, I understand. I get it. I would love that type of vacation. We're taking off for, I guess, a little mini vacay also next week. But I still have to
Oh.
cook. I still have to cook, but that's okay. Um, one of these days, my husband will get me to an all inclusive because he's already putting that out there into the universe, and I'm putting it into the universe even
Good.
further by having this on recording, on record, that at some point he's going to get me to all inclusive. But yes, I'm the type where um, make it easy for me. Put me on a beach somewhere tropical where there's sun and I can live in a
Hmm.
bikini and just be fed and
Oh my
happy
gosh,
all
that's
day.
that's
So,
honestly my dream vacation too. Like I don't care to go sightsee. I love cruises, so put me on a ship, everything like at my disposal. And that's my idea of a vacation as well. So again, like
seriously.
not comparing to what other people do, and it's what makes you happy, and what you prefer, and just
Hmm.
because I hear this, like, just because one person is doing this in their life as far as vacations are concerned, oh, well, we should see the world and we want to do this, and that's great. Like that, you do you, boo. That's what I say, right?
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
I'm finally,
Whatever
yeah,
tickles
what
your
tickles your
pickle.
pickle? Oh, it's so funny. And I hate traveling with kids. Like I refuse to do that when they were, I mean, I did coming back here. I still had to fly, and oh my gosh, it was
Hmm.
so hard, like juggling two kids on your own. And now that they're, they can both, they're independent. Like, they can use the washroom,
Hmm.
they can do their own thing. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe now I can go overseas or somewhere, but not before,
Yeah.
right? So,
Oh, I did it. I did it with the girls in 2020. So
yeah.
I had let me see here. We went to the Philippines because my parents said, hey, let's go. And fortunately enough, it was right before COVID was going to
Mm.
hit. So we got there and like nothing was really spoken of it. And then it started trickling down and I was like, oh my God. But we got out in time before like
Oh,
they shut
jeez.
everything down. But gosh, how old were the kids? So in 2020, my oldest was born in 20.
It's about 4 years, 5 years
Lord,
ago.
I'm so bad. So I think I had like a 5 year old and a three or
Mm-hmm.
like a 2 year old, something along that. But they were young, and so it was work. I had the double stroller with the one of the really popular strollers out here in the U.S. is the Up
Oh,
and
yeah.
Babies because they're like the freaking Range Rovers
Stroller.
of stroller systems because they have so many different add-ons. So I had the one where I had the one seat and then the second seat, and then also my oldest could opt to either sit or stand on the
Oh,
little thing that you can
nice.
attach in the back, and the bottom was humongous. That was probably why people had such a high affinity for it, like the storage part in the bottom, and it was sturdy as all hell. So I had that. I was traveling with that, plus a diaper bag,
I
plus my
know.
own bag. I mean, I did it with my parents, but they're older, and plus you and I are very similar. We're very type A, where we
Hmm.
have a system. Like, don't mess with my system. I got this.
Yeah.
And so the people, like the what is it, the couriers or the people at the airport, were looking at me like I'm just this novelty because they're just watching me like go bam, 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 here, go. And they're like, because they're trying to help me. And I'm like, I
Oh,
got it. You're in my
exactly.
way. You're actually like, you're like slowing down my process. So it is not for the faint of heart. And honestly, if you are not a very organized person, it's going to be hell trying to travel with kids who still need help in the bathroom, who still need strollers. Because I'm also very neurotic. Like, I'm like, no, put your asses in the stroller because I don't know. There's too many people here. Like, somebody can grab you in 2 hot seconds.
Oh,
And now
yeah.
it's like game
Oh,
over for
I
me. So, I mean, you and I are very similar
Yeah.
like that
Oh,
too.
yeah. And like, I remember traveling with them young and having ear infections, being on antibiotics, and then throwing up and
Oh.
diarrhea and like, oh gosh. And then you put,
Even just changing diapers while you're having to
my
travel is
God, I know,
hard
especially in those tiny little airplane
because it's
bathrooms, right? Bathrooms. Oh,
yeah, you don't really have. I think my youngest was probably in pull-ups. I don't think she was in a diaper anymore, but still even at that. I mean, granted I could just rip it off and go, but it's still like you need that privacy and trying to find it because I don't know in Canada for you guys if it's more common to have like changing stations
yeah.
and restrooms. It's not always the case
Oh,
here in the US, especially in smaller restaurants or even in restaurants in general. Like they're not required
oh,
by law to have a changing station. So there's been a lot of times where I've had to pop out of the restaurant and luckily I have an
right.
SUV and I just pop the SUV, open the back of it and just do a quick changing station out there. Just because I'm
That's
like,
why we
well,
super moms.
for real. And before I forget, I might get interrupted because my youngest was running a
Oh,
fever last night. She didn't wake up with a fever. So it might just be like, hey, mom, can I take meds? And I'm like,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
Well,
So
we're
for
good.
anybody listening, if you,
I
if we
know.
get,
I put a tiny little chair to block the door. Hopefully they don't.
stop it. You guys, this is real life for us, okay? Like, I'm very fortunate that my kids are a little bit older and independent where I could just be like, don't bother me. I'm working. Dal, on the other hand, like she's still navigating it, but like
I
this is
know.
real life. So when you guys, I hope you guys feel seen right now. I really hope you feel seen.
Totally, right? Totally. But we make it work. Okay, so let's get into
We
it. So the
do.
question that I recall getting was basically how to, so we can kind of touch on this afterwards. So let's talk about,
Hmm.
the question was like, how do I get back on air quotes track, after
Quote unquote track.
coming back from vacation. And so I think that'll be a good, topic to discuss afterwards. So let's just talk about how
Yeah.
maybe you and I navigate different types of vacations, different scenarios, and the things that like we do now differently than we would have done before, for example. So I know for myself,
Okay.
so a lot of my vacations have consisted of, 2+ weeks coming back home to where I grew up. And yes, I do stay with my parents. So, I mean, whether it's an Airbnb, or like a hotel, if you have, I'm sure you agree, strongly suggest, encourage having a fridge available to you and a microwave.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they have coffee machines, hot water, whatever. Um, but something that I did last year when I came here for myself so that I could, do keep up with all my non-negotiables, my movement, etc. Because the weather can be finicky, like it could be pouring rain, whatever, right? Or in the winter, it's really cold, icy sometimes. And so last year I actually purchased a walking pad, for my parents,
Mm.
obviously to benefit them. I don't think they've used it. But I use it, right? Like that for me, like taking these steps basically to ensure, that I set myself up for success. Like we talk about how setting up your environment for success plays such a huge role,
Mm-hmm.
right? In just, your short-term goals, long-term goals. It's a lifestyle. So got that walking pad. Oh my gosh, it comes in, like, it's the return on investment is just, I can't even tell you. Like I'm using it all the time. So I've been able to keep my steps up with that, along with going for walks. I something simple like buying a scale, food scale. I purchased a small scale. I use that here now because I am not good at eyeballing. I've been doing this for,
I don't
yeah,
think
like I've been doing this
anybody
for three
is.
years, and I honestly want to make sure that I'm getting enough protein, and I still cannot eyeball my protein properly. I've tried. I don't. And I want to ensure also at the same
I,
time, you want to
I
ensure that you're getting, not that you're like, basically for me, I'm not shortchanging myself, putting in less than I can have, right? Like you take a spoonful of, say,
right.
Greek yogurt, and you could have had an extra 2 spoons if you had measured. So that's the way that I see it.
Well, I'm notorious for under eating protein if I'm not
Yeah.
tracking. And, I have a post rolling out this week that I'm going to create because somebody asked, how come I'm still tracking while I'm in maintenance?
Hmm.
Well, because I have a very high protein goal. So there's several layers to that. It's consistency. It's also making sure I have accuracy in my data. It's also to make sure that I'm not under eating protein, because like I said, I'm
Yeah,
notorious for doing that because I cannot eyeball
exactly.
either. And I have a tendency to under eat protein and probably overeat in carbs and fats. Is that a terrible thing? You know, on a one-off day? No, but over time with my goals that I have aligned for me, is that going to be a problem? Yeah, it
Yeah.
will be a problem. So it's just about keeping and maintaining those habits that work for me. Now, there are people where they get into maintenance and they get a little loose with it, and that's cool. If that works for them, that's awesome. But I'm still trying to fine tune some things. So for me, it's important to still maintain that consistency of tracking and keeping an eye on everything. Do I hope at some point that I can be loose with it? Yeah, absolutely. But that's going to come over time. I'm going to and I hate to say this, but it's the truth. I have to quote unquote earn
Mm.
that,
Mm-hmm.
luxury,
Mm-hmm.
I should say.
Yeah, and and it
So
depends. Like if you, for example, I mean, it's all context depend. Like depends. If you eat very
well, I
similar
mean, it's
foods
the truth.
every day, you almost maybe after a certain point, again, after doing it for a while or long enough where you're comfortable, you may not have to, and you might be, give or take just by a few grams, which is totally cool, right?
Hmm.
Maybe if you use the same utensils or same cutlery, like you use the bowls, same spoon, for example, things like that,
Yeah.
right? So that can also play a role. But yeah, for the most part, I'm in maintenance too, and I still choose to track and measure my food. And is there more flexibility? Yes, like you said, there's going to be some days
Hmm.
where, we don't, and it's okay. You don't have to, right? But for the most part, again,
Hmm.
majority of the time, we are tracking, right? And or we are weighing and measuring our food. So that really
Yeah.
helped, like having my mini scale. Like, am I going to take a mini scale if I'm on a 1 week vacation? Probably not, right? Like if I'm going somewhere, if it's an all-inclusive,
Hmm.
no. If I'm going somewhere where like you're going to be making food, you have access to a kitchen, you may take your scale. Why not, right?
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
that as well as what else? Oh, for example, online grocery. Like how easy is that? I got here, I put in my order for the foods that we eat on a regular basis, like my kids, and myself. I even placed a Costco order with my dad before I came. I'm like, Dad, here's my list.
You're like, Dad, are you going to Costco? Okay, while you're going, can you add this
Exactly.
to your
40.
list of things? But hey, listen,
Yeah.
there's no shame in our game, because what it really boils down to is we know what makes us operate at our
Yeah.
most highest selves, right? And eating like this and having these habits and maintaining them is what keeps us functioning and what keeps us
Yeah.
feeling good overall. So it's not about us being neurotic. It's at this point, it's ingrained in who we are as a person. It's not necessarily our identity. It's just we know that that's what makes us feel
Yeah. It's
good.
part of our
And so it's
identity.
just second nature
Yeah,
at
but I
this
mean, it is a
point.
part of our identity for sure. It's not the identity, but it's a part of it. We want to move, right? We want to
True.
move. We want to
Mm-hmm.
eat the foods that we're used to eating, and all of those things. So yeah, it's not, you'll hear like, oh, it's disordered to track, or it's disordered to do this, but is it really like, is it? It's not. If
It's not really anybody's place to really
diagnosed
put a
or
title or,
yeah,
yeah, yes. It's all at the end of the day, like we say, it depends, right? How does it suit you? How does it make you feel? How does it make you stay aligned with who you are as a person and your goals? Because I have a client who's taking off to
hmm
Vegas this week, and I met up with her over the weekend. We took a walk. I had an
hmm
in-person check-in because she's local and she's a girlfriend of mine. And I told her, hey, don't
yeah,
track. Don't track your food. Go have a good time, because it's a 2-for-1. She's going for business and also her husband's going, because I did that with my husband for
yeah,
Real Coaches Summit. I said, don't track. Go have a good time and be in the moment. And she stopped me and she said, hey, because she is very, 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 very type A. Like she has to be
hmm
like doing the things, and then she starts to feel down on herself and she doesn't do the things. I said, don't be neurotic about it. Go have a good time, be in the moment. And she's like, well, she's like, I think I'm just going to track like
cool.
my protein, and try to like get a guesstimate of it. Because, and then she already knew I was going to dig on the
hmm
why for it. And she was like, because I just want to stay in the habit. She's like, I have a tendency, if I stop tracking for like a day or two, then I get out of the habit of it. So she realized and understood that she's still not in that
Right.
habit yet. and it's not second nature to her yet. So she wants to stay consistent with it. And I said, okay, I'm
Yeah.
proud of you then.
And it
Then
works
do
for
that.
her.
If it makes you feel good, then
Yes.
do that.
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. As long as it's not something that's forced or you feel like you have to do it because of somebody telling you to do it. It's what you want to do. She made that choice from a place of power. And that's what I
Mm.
always encourage my clients is whatever you choose, make that from a
Right.
place of power
Yeah.
and roll with it. And don't look back. Say, that's what I wanted to do in
It's the
that moment.
intention, right? The
Because at
intention
the end,
behind the
mm-hmm,
decision that you're about to make. Like you're choosing to do that and the power of choice.
yeah,
It's it's very
mm-hmm,
empowering to know that you can choose.
it is.
I also have a client who's going who's actually overseas, but for 3 to 4 weeks, and I'm here for 3 to 4 weeks. I'm not overseas, and the way that I view that is, well, like every day doesn't have to be a vacation meal, right? Like, yes, you're on vacation, but you're also
No.
there for 3 to 4 weeks. That's a big chunk of time. And, maybe if it was 3, 4 days, again, the advice you gave your client, that's the same thing that I would do. You know what? Whatever. I'm going to go have a good time. I'm going to be mindful. What does mindful mean to me? My definition of mindful means
Mm-hmm,
prioritize protein as much as I can, fiber,
mm-hmm.
get my fruits in if I can. But for the most part, move, get some, we know we were in Vegas. Like I was at the gym at 4:30 a.m. Like I was getting my movement in, right? On 4 hours
You were.
of
I sure
sleep.
wasn't.
I got receipts. Um,
Dal was living her best 21st birthday life or something because I'm like, how did you go to bed at like 1 in the morning and wake up at 4 to go to the gym? Like, I was like, no, boo boo,
Girl, I was dead when
I'm
I got
sleeping.
back. I think I slept like 12 hours straight, which I never do. I'm like up to go to the washroom 2, 3 times a night. So that was crazy. But yes, like again, it was okay, cool. Like try to, but she's overseas and protein where she is in India, it's like it's hard to come by. There's a lot of things that you have to take into account. Like,
Yeah.
listen, just do the best you can. Like you're being mindful, you're being aware. Look at all the things that you're doing that you wouldn't have done before. You're prioritizing movement, you're planning your days around movement, right? Like sightseeing and all of these
Mm-hmm.
things. You feel good in your clothes. You're also very conscious of, you're going to be conscious of what you're eating. So Indian food isn't very, again, protein, high in protein. And so you've seen my stories.
It's very
Yeah, it
carb
is
forward,
carb
right?
forward, fat forward. And so, include it where you can. And like 6 months, a year ago, like when you went last year, you weren't paying attention to that. And now you're saying, okay, maybe I can throw in a
Mm-hmm.
couple of eggs, whatever the case may be, whatever's available to her. Otherwise, I'm like, it's temporary. It's a few weeks. Enjoy yourself. And when you
Mm-hmm.
get back, like you can get back to your routine, right? All those things.
Yeah. I don't think people understand in perspective there's 365 days in a year. So whether you're gone for 7 days, 14 days, or 21 days, that's such a small blip of time where if you are not in your normal routine, it's not
Mm.
going to throw everything off as long as the remaining days of the year, you're making an effort to stay on those habits and live that lifestyle that makes you feel
Yeah,
good
and
for yourself.
realistically,
And I think that that's the
yeah,
most
and
important
realistically,
part.
if you've been working with your coach for long enough, you've established some sort of routine, structure, habits that you're going into this scenario with a totally different mindset, which is going to be different
Mhm.
from old you. So that,
I think that not enough people give
yeah,
themselves credit for that. Like understanding, like just the mind shift. The mind shift alone, when you enter a situation,
right.
is huge because, like you said, a year ago, your client wouldn't have been
No.
thinking that way. A year ago, my client would not have been approaching things the way she's approaching. She would have said, F it,
Mm.
let's go, like, and just do all the things. So I think that people need to take a step back and see the bigger picture and give themselves credit for any type of
Progress, yes.
progress or transition or mind shift that they've had because I think it all falls in that all or nothing like, well, I'm not you and I'm not doing what you're doing and I don't look like you, but it's not a competition of trying to be like that person. Everything is unique and individual and independent to who you are in your lifestyle and what's going on in your life. And I think that if you are moving that needle forward more than you're moving it backwards,
Yeah,
you're
you're
winning.
always moving forward. That's it. Yeah. one small thing, you're
Mm-hmm.
still winning, right? Like, and it's always, we always,
Mm-hmm.
I use the word small too, but what seems seemingly small isn't, in the grand scheme of things, all of these things are going to compound and they're going to turn into some big changes, big shifts in your life. And I can say for certain, even compared to last year and where I'm at, like completely different, right? Because we're always learning, we're always growing, we're always finding what works for us
Mm-hmm.
and that's exactly what you should be doing, like our audience, like find what works for you. Your season of life is going to be different than where I'm at. Like just circling back to the age of your kids, our kids, it was different traveling at certain times. I was in the plane and a mom had two younger kids and they're kind of all over the place. And she's like, "Oh, look at that little boy," referring to my little one. She's like, "Look, he's standing there so
Mm-hmm.
patiently." I'm like, "Girl, I just got here this year." It was not like that before, so don't worry.
I would have told her that though. I would have been like, listen, I get it. That was me. You were
Yeah.
me last year. Because I don't think they're so caught up in the comparison that they're not understanding. Like we've all transitioned. Like honestly, like I don't know why like so many moms don't understand that. Instead of the
Yeah.
comparison or being envious, like understand that we were there at some
Yeah.
point too, and we came out of it. And if we came out of it, so
Yeah.
are
And
you. You just have to
it
keep
takes
chucking at
time.
it.
And how do you get to that level of um, I see it as confidence, is just putting in the reps, practicing, doing it over
Mm-hmm.
time. And, at some point you'll get to a place where it's like, you know what, I know I'm doing the things that make me feel good. I know I'm doing the things that align with my goals, my values, and that internal confidence will just kind of exude, right? Like it just radiates and it kind of radiates into all aspects of
It's
your
true.
life. So, okay. So moving back
Mm-hmm.
to vacation. So those are some of the things that I do when I'm visiting home for an extended period of time. We touched on when it's a smaller vacation, 3 weeks or 3 days to a week, it's going to look a little bit different, right? So what are some
Mm-hmm.
suggestions that you like, kind of tips that you could give our audience for as far as navigating a vacation?
So I'm very much like you. We're leaving next week. We have a timeshare, so we're going to be gone for about a week. I can also either get food delivered, go pick up food, or I'm choosing to have all of my food delivered and then I'll prep it. Like I'm essentially just treating it like a
Home.
normal week for me. So I'm going to meal prep and ingredient prep, bring food there. I will cook some food there, but I'm going to be bringing a majority of like what we normally eat on a normal basis, because we're very much like we don't like to eat too much out of
Hmm.
our normal routine because it just doesn't make us
Right.
feel good. Um, and so, I mean, you touched on that,
Yeah.
so I'm not going to really touch on that very, very much more. Now, there are situations sometimes where we take like a 3 or 4 day vacation where we're in a hotel, and we can't bring
Right.
food like that. Like I can't bring
Yeah.
full on meals. So something that I do, and I'll use Vegas as an example. When we were at Real Coaches Summit, ain't no shame
Hmm.
in my game, so none of y'all judge me, okay? I called in advance because the rooms at Caesars do not automatically include a refrigerator. So I called and I said, "Hey, I have a quote unquote medical necessity."
You do. Sensitive to
Ha-
gluten.
my medical my medical necessity is that your girl needs to eat, and I don't want to be spending $50 on extra
Yeah.
protein. Bet. So I said, "Hey, I have a medical necessity. I need a fridge in the room. How do I go about that?" And I was willing to pay the extra
Mhm.
money if I needed to. But they said, "Oh, since you have a quote unquote medical necessity, we'll waive the fee and we'll reserve a refrigerator for you." So once I checked in, I noticed the refrigerator wasn't there. So I called the front desk and I said, "Hey, I called in advance to reserve a refrigerator, but it's not up here." And they're like, "Oh yeah, we see the reservation on that, but you have to call when
Mm.
you get checked in so we can bring it up." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So they brought it up, no questions
Yeah.
asked.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to
Yeah.
ask for things, because the worst thing they're going to either say is it costs extra or no. But closed mouths
Hmm.
don't get fed. So open your mouth and ask for what you need. That's the number one thing. And then, two, here's where there's no shame in my game. Because my husband came and he's not about eating 3 or 4 meals out. We brought a microwave.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Yeah.
brought a
Hey.
microwave. We had our wagon, we had our straight wagon, packed it in the wagon, put our clothes and everything on top of it, and wheeled it through Caesar's Palace. Bet.
Something I would do.
You got to do what you got to do. I'm just being honest. And some of you would be like, oh, you're clutching your pearls, gasp, like, oh my God. No,
I'm not shocked
listen.
because I would do the same thing.
This is what makes us feel good, okay? Because let's be honest, eating out, once you start to eat like this as your lifestyle, eating out starts to make
Yeah.
you feel like shit. You start to feel bloated. You start to feel gross. You start to feel lethargic because of all the sodium and all of the oils and whatever else it is, right? I'm not saying it's a terrible thing, but it's just we don't choose to feel like that all the time. So we took it into our own hands, taking control of the variables that we
Yeah.
could control,
100%. There you go.
right? So we had packed Greek yogurt, fruits, some of these, I think it's the Love breakfast burritos. I even got those pre-made salads, just stuff that we could munch on that like would still just make us feel like we were
Right.
fueling and not with trash. So that's something that I would advise people to do. Don't worry about that because even we have some hotels here where they're kind of, I don't want to say low scale, but they're on the lower end, but they offer like a breakfast, like a continental breakfast, but it's typically a cold breakfast. So it's mostly pastries and donuts and cereals, like carb, sugar, right? Which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but if you're trying to eat breakfast and then you're trying to go do things throughout the rest of the day, that's not really going to fuel you. You're going to be hungry as soon as you hit your next location. So something in that nature, if you have the refrigerator, bring those like the Chobani or oil. What is it? The
Oikos.
Oikos,
Yep. Yeah.
Greek.
The little individual
Yeah, the
size
little
yogurt.
Greek
Yep.
yogurts. Yes, because those are, I think there's one now that has 20 grams of protein, or even the Chobani protein drinks. My daughter loves those. They're
Yeah.
also
The
20
yogurt drinks.
grams. Bring those with you. Have a cooler. I mean, I bought a $30 rolling cooler off of Amazon to bring with us. It's a soft thing. It has wheels on it. So that way we could just drag it or somebody can just drag it. It's not difficult. You just
And
have to
it's still
plan for it.
cheaper.
So go
It's
eat.
cheap.
Yes, go eat the continental breakfast because you paid for it in your thing, but then bring a Chobani smoothie yogurt with you so that way you have 20 grams to start your
Exactly.
day. So you just have to know it all. It takes like being educated in nutrition to know like what can you bring to serve your needs, or even bring freaking cold cuts and
Sandwiches.
bread.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, the economy right now is rough on
Yeah.
a lot of people, and I get it because everybody's feeling it. So whatever you can do to A, help your pockets not become so empty, and B, still stay aligned with your nutritional goals to still make you feel good, do it. Bring
Yeah.
sandwiches.
Yeah.
Who
Exactly.
cares? Ain't
No.
nobody
No.
judging.
And if you, yeah,
Because guess who's leaving with an extra $100 in their pocket because you didn't eat
you
another
is.
meal out? You are.
Yeah. And you know what? And if you don't have access to that, like any of that, there's those quick oatmeal packages. Boil some water, throw some yogurt on that. Yeah, and okay, fine. Like if you don't have any of that, then you just make the best, better choice wherever you're eating. So for
The good, better,
yeah, for
best
breakfast,
choice.
keep it
Yes.
simple. Your fruits instead of scrambled eggs, just get like a poached egg. Scrambled egg, you don't know how much oil, butter, all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff that they're putting in. So get a poached egg,
Mm-hmm.
get a boiled egg, get toast, ask for it dry and put your own peanut butter, whatever you want on it, right? Like, because again, you don't know how much
Mm-hmm.
butter they're putting on it, right? You could, it's not
Mm-hmm.
that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. It just depends on, again, your goals and kind of what you're after, right? Get bacon, eat the
Right.
bacon. Like I'd probably rather eat two pieces of bacon than two pieces of sausage because I can more accurately track that than I can the sausage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and then
Mm-hmm.
lunch, same thing. Like a sandwich is a sandwich. If you can go somewhere where you can specify what you want in the sandwich and how to make it, so Subway or any type of sandwich shop, you can get your meat, your veggies, mustard, and ask for the mayo on the side and put it on yourself if you wanted to, right? Like, because if you get those
Yeah.
fancy sandwiches, they can be up to 1,000 calories too.
Yeah, because they put bacon on it, real bacon. They put
And they don't just put
mayo
two
on it.
slices,
And then on top of the mayo, they add, yeah, no, they
five,
put like
right?
five. And then on top of that, they have mayo and avocado. Why do we need fat on top of fat
Yeah.
on top?
I mean,
Because I'm usually a
yeah,
one or
and
the
I do that. I
other.
mean, on my sandwiches at home, I'll put avocado and mayo, but I use a mayo that's like 35 calories per tablespoon. So that's okay.
But you're using it sparingly.
Exactly.
You're using it sparingly. In the restaurants, they are
Yes.
slathering it. And I'm
And
like,
they're,
I went to Jersey
yeah.
Mike's one time and I asked for mayo. And when I tell you, like, it looked like half a vat of mayo on. I
Oh,
was like, no, 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 no,
see,
no, no. I'm gonna need you to scrape that. I just want like a
yes,
schmear. So now I'm like
yeah,
very light
that's
mayo because we're just not, we don't need it
no,
doused in mayo
nope,
in my house. We're just not
yeah,
like that.
and again, like I was at a certain point where that didn't matter. Again, it's just practicing, putting the reps, being more self-aware, learning more about nutrition, and over time,
Mm-hmm.
you will come to learn these things, and eventually they will probably also become a part of you because naturally, like you said, you were alluding to, like at a certain point, you don't feel good eating those kinds of foods, and you eat them sparingly, once in a while, and not all of
Mm-hmm.
the time, which is something that I used to do in my past, eat out all the time. The food didn't taste good. I didn't care for it, but I still ate it. So, but yeah,
Right.
so there's lots of tips and tricks and just different ways of navigating. And it just depends on how long you're going for, your
Mm-hmm.
life, where you're at, what your goals are, right?
I think ultimately the key thing here is, especially if you don't have access to a kitchen or you don't have access to a microwave or refrigerator and you have to eat all your meals out, don't be afraid
Yeah,
to speak up. Ask for them to customize your food. Unless it absolutely specifies somewhere that there is no customization on your food,
yeah.
ask. Because in this day and age with so many like sensitive food allergies and food sensitivities, people are more than likely not going to say no. So
Hmm.
I am the queen of sauce
Oh,
on the
for sure.
side. My husband laughs at me because I'm like, no, like if it comes with like a chipotle mayo or whatever, I'm like, put that
Yeah.
bad boy on the side because I already know they're going to put like 2 tablespoons of that on my burger, and I don't need 2 tablespoons
And
on
we
my burger. Like I just need a schmear
and
of
we
it and
also know
call it
that's
a
a cut.
day. But
Yeah, and we
that's
also
just
know that's a
me.
couple hundred calories and it's not worth it, right?
Correct. So the biggest thing is, like we touched on, do a good, better, best scenario. So what is, be in that moment and say, okay, how do I want to approach this? Do I want to make the best choice, the good choice, or the better choice? Because it all
Hmm.
matters, right? So instead of having, like you said, the fried eggs,
Yeah,
have a poached egg or ask for egg whites and ask them to cook it in light oil. Will
don't
they
know.
do it? I don't know, but at least you
Exactly, right?
asked. At
So
least
I
you
have a
asked.
client who is going on a girls' trip for 4 days. So this is just to give you an example. And they're staying at a place, so most of their food they're cooking there, which is cool. She also knows that they're going to be bringing in like their homemade desserts and stuff. So she made her own so that she has access to that versus because she knows otherwise she'll eat, all of that other stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
they were going to be going to a really fancy restaurant and ask for my advice and what would you do. I go, listen, you have to do what works best for you. First of all, just ask yourself, this is a fancy restaurant, will you ever come again? Is it something that you want to experience, right? Like how does it serve you? And if the answer is yes, I want to enjoy the experience, no, I don't want to make these substitutions, because at a really fancy high-end restaurant, like really you don't want to make substitutions because you
Yeah,
want to
you
eat
want to
it the
eat
way
it
it is,
as
right?
is, as it was intended.
Exactly. I go,
Yes.
however, if it was me, I don't really care for the fancy restaurants and all of these crazy things because I'm not really a foodie. And things like escargot or this or that, like I'm like, no, no, thank you, right? And
I just want
yeah,
good food. I don't care where you take me. The food just got to be banging.
yeah.
Like
And
that's
so I go,
it.
look, so I was looking at the menu because I'll often tell my clients to send me the menu if they need some help, navigating it. And I'm like, oh, wow. Like I saw that there's a kids menu. So for me personally, I'd order off the kids menu. It's brunch. You can get your eggs probably customized the way you want. It's 2 pieces of bacon. It's single ingredient items. That's what I'm going to be ordering. But
Mm-hmm.
that's me. That's it, right? That's what it comes down to. You
Right.
have to be in
That's
that situation.
that's for
Exactly,
you.
exactly. So there's no right or wrong, really. Like there are
No.
guidelines that you can utilize to help you navigate those situations, but there really is no right or wrong. I mean, if you're going to eat every meal out, what are your expectations? If it's to maintain your weight or lose weight, well, that's probably not going to happen, especially if your movement is low and you're sedentary on your trip.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so finally, for myself, the one biggest tip that I give is just move, move. That's it.
Yeah.
You can still
Yeah.
eat for the most part what you want, enjoy yourself, just move. even if you're not tracking, right?
Yeah.
So that's for me, I think.
We do the
Yep.
same thing. We do the same thing for like when we're at the timeshare. So last we were at the timeshare a couple weeks ago,
Yep.
three like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I had said my non-negotiable is making sure I get a minimum of 8K steps, which
Yep.
is easy to do because we just walked
Yep.
the grounds. We walked to the gym, we walked to the pool, we walked to the farmers market, and that was not a very hard task. And also at least one gym session.
Perfect.
Now, is I guess it is a non-negotiable, but it was one of those situations where because we were going to be busy, we went to the fair, we went to SeaWorld. If it didn't happen, was it going to be the end of the world and was I going to spiral? No. But it was I made it like an intention to try to
Yep.
get to the gym at least once. If we got there twice, cool. If not, at least the one time. And we did get there the one time. We brought the kids. They sat there. The kids were actually going to come work out in the gym because my kids are gym kids. They know
Hmm.
how to act in a gym. They know they're comfortable around certain machines. But then the people at the front were like, they can't because they're under 13. And I was like, okay, but they're gym kids. But let me
Yeah.
just be quiet because
Yeah. I mean, liability, whatever.
I mean, because they just really wanted to be on the treadmill and walk. I didn't see why that was a problem, and it wasn't full. There
Right.
wasn't any like I mean, there was one person on the treadmill, and there was 10 treadmills. So what's two? But again, the rules are the rules. So whatever. Because not everybody understands that, like, okay, this
Hmm.
is my lifestyle, and my kids are being raised in the lifestyle too. So I had to respect it. So we got there and we made it there, and that's it. And that's the thing where you say, just move. You don't have to go and pick up your same routine and take it with you. If you want to because it makes you feel
Hmm.
good, cool. I empower you to do so. But there's no reason that you
Right.
have to because again, in 365 days, is 7 days, 14 days, or 21 days going to kill
No,
everything? No, it's not. So just set a minimum bare standards that will make you feel good. That's it.
exactly.
It doesn't have to look any type of way because all I did was a full body workout. That's
Perfect.
what I did.
Yeah.
I didn't say I have it's Tuesday. I gotta do my push day or I gotta do my no. I was okay. It's Tuesday. Let's do a
Yeah.
full body workout day because I don't know if I'm gonna make it back. So let's
Yeah.
hit
For
everything.
sure. Yeah, left, yesterday morning, like I don't even know what day it is, gosh. I was gonna meet my I know,
It's Sunday.
I was gonna meet my cousin and my sister at the beach and go for a walk. Like where I live, we don't really have that, right? I mean, now we're on the coast and I really wanted to, but it was 7 a.m. It's my, first night for my kids sleeping here and plus I was having like tummy issues and whatnot and I couldn't go, but it was planned beforehand and it sucked. I had the intention. It didn't happen, but I was okay with it. Like it's okay. Like it's didn't happen there. So I got on my treadmill, right? Went for a walk in the evening. You just pivot, you shift, you do, yeah, my non-negotiables
Mm-hmm.
here are definitely movement. I want to try to get to the gym twice a week here, but for how busy it is, I might not be able to. That is the goal. We'll see what happens. It's okay. So that's the thing, right? It's okay. I'm not, like you said, it's progress over perfection. So 3 weeks isn't going to make or break
Mm-hmm.
anything. So yeah,
I think there's a difference between you not doing it because you're busy, because you're on
yes,
vacation, because you're involved in everything else, versus not doing it just
yeah.
because you're just kind of abandoning
Well,
ship
that's
on
always a
everything.
caveat, right?
So
Yeah, like,
correct, yes, and I think that's where people don't really stop and think about that. Like why did you not do
right,
it? Was it just because you didn't want to and you're like, fuck it, like I gotta no, I
right.
don't want to? Or was it I was busy. I was in
Yeah,
the moment. I was on vacation and making memories.
yeah,
Okay, cool. That's freaking
yeah,
amazing.
exactly.
Because old you probably would have sat there and dwelled on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. No. And I realized I've been through this now, and I know like 3 weeks. Yeah, I might go back and it might take me a week to get to back to where I was, and I'm cool with that. It might take 2 weeks. I'm cool with that too. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah. So I think that pretty much covers it in the time frame that we have here. What do you
Mhm.
think? Like, you think we did a good job here? Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
no, I
so,
think that
right?
was perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
That
So
was
maybe
perfect.
now, like,
And now we can attack like how
how
do
do
you
you
come
come back?
back?
Yeah. So, for me, it's just like you can't. What do they say? I mean, there's things like don't let one day turn into two, or and for me, I know from experience,
Mhm.
it's happened where one week turns into two, turns into a month, and the longer that goes on, the harder it is to come back from. And so
Yes.
again, the on track, like I'm, you're never really off track, like, but because that. that
Right.
analogy is used so much. It's just easy to relate to. So just the way
Mm-hmm.
that I see it is you just look at it as if you're just going back to routine, really, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's all you have to do is go back to routine. Isn't it mentally hard? I can see that, like going from probably eating out a lot, all of those things, to now having to get back, start ingredient prepping, meal prepping, grocery. Uh, it's a lot, but it's also life, right? So maybe it's a mindset shift to say, hey,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm back. I had my fun, did all that. Now it's just a matter of doing the things that I always do because I know how it makes me feel. It aligns with who I am. It's what I want to do. Is it always easy? No, but does it have to be done? Yes. We're adults.
It's true though. It's true. And I hate to compare it to this, but for people who are just starting out, because again, you and I don't want to
Yep.
talk for you, but I'm pretty sure that this is probably where you stand on it as well. It's very easy to jump back in because we've done it for so long. And I guess it's been 5 years of consistency for me. So it's in the grand scheme of things, it's not a long time, but it's long enough for me to have it instilled in who I am as a person. So I don't ever really have to quote unquote get back on track. I
Yep.
just jump back in. So it's not a hard thing for me, but I can understand why it could be hard for somebody just
Yep.
starting out who is still trying to establish that foundation. So forgive me when I say this. This might be harsh, but I'm a little blunt sometimes. But you got to treat it like a job
Yeah.
because, like you said, we're all adults. So you got to put your big girl panties on and buck up and let's go, right? Because you have these goals in mind, and nobody else is going to come do it for you. You got to
Hmm.
do it for you, and you have to want it. You have to want it for
Hmm.
you. So you come back from vacation, you got to clock back in at your job. You got to start doing all of your
Yeah.
responsibilities, right? Because if you don't, you get fired. It's the same thing. You clock back into your job, you clock back into life, you clock back into parenting. Because if you went on that mommy daddy trip, you don't get to tell your kids, hey, I don't feel like taking care of
Hmm.
you today. I'm still on vacation mode. No, you come back and you start taking care of everybody and everything. It is what it is. You've got to just shift that mindset. And as harsh as that sounds, it's the honest, brutal truth. You have to take accountability of your life. Period.
Yeah. And I agree. There was, and so let's go back to what you said. Like if it's, you're just starting. For me, though, I can tell you in the last, since I've started, it was hard to get back. Um, I would come back and it would turn into a few days, maybe a week or whatever. I think the important part for me was recognizing that the goal of all of this is one, there's obviously something still going on that's deeper, and things that we need to address, like, well, why is it that you don't want to do these things? Why is it that you're back and you don't want to do the things that make you feel good and just get back to that routine structure, whatever? So that plays a part of it, as plays a role in it too. um, and the goal of it, as I always say, is to decrease like the frequency and duration of any sort of air quotes episode, whether it's being in a state of dysregulation and over consuming, or binging is
Mm-hmm.
another term that's used, or if it's coming back from vacation and just you keep that going. There's still some underlying issue that probably needs to be addressed, and it can also mean that there might be, like you said, there's certain habits and things that just haven't been established for long enough. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that also is playing a role. But at the end of the day, it is a choice, for the most part, I feel like. Um, but it's not easy. I don't, it's
No,
not
it's not
easy.
easy at all. And I'm not
No,
trying to, I guess,
no,
pull the rug out from other people and say,
yep,
oh, no,
no,
just buck up. I mean, a little bit of it
yep.
is, though. A little bit of it is. But if it's too daunting for you to just full swing jump back in,
Scale
pick
it back.
something that you can
Yes,
jump back
yes.
into. So if it's because again, it's about making it work
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
you, right? So if you do have underlying issues, because you and I
Yeah,
have both done a lot of
yeah.
inner work, which we'll talk about probably, I'm sure, a lot over the life of this podcast. Um, there is things inside of you that keep you from doing the things that you know
Hmm.
you're supposed to do. I get that. But at the end of the day, you've got to try to do something for yourself. don't don't completely walk away from it. So if it's just tackling getting back into your steps and getting back into your fitness routine,
Perfect.
cool, do that. Or if it's just your nutrition, cool, do that. Or if it's not drinking as much as you were on vacation, cool, do that. Because I am not an
No,
anti-alcohol person, and that's an
both of us
episode that
aren't.
I
Yeah.
think we want to go, yeah, we want to go ahead
Yeah.
and dive into on
Yeah.
another day, which we will. But if it's just doing a little
Yes.
bit, because that's how I approach it with my clients. We don't have to attack everything all at once. I know you want to, because I know you want the results yesterday, but that's not how we're going to do it, because it's not about overwhelming you. It's about getting you those wins to get you invested or reinvested back into the process. So pick something that seems
Doable.
appealing or realistic or doable for you in
Yes.
that moment.
Yes.
And that's when I say buck
Yeah.
up and do it. I don't say buck up and do it all if you just can't, because I'm not living in your shoes. I don't know what internally you're dealing with, in your heart and in your mind. So yes, in that sense, I get it. But pick something. There's no way that you can't pick something to get
Yeah, like
back
you and I
into.
are at that place now, definitely much closer to it than I was last year, where we can pick up and start doing all of the things, right? Whatever all of the things look like
Mm-hmm.
for us. So I love that you clarified that, because it's true. Like, just do, if it's walking, just go start walking, right? Like, just pick that one thing that's
Mm-hmm.
realistic to you, um, to just get that momentum going again, on top of everything else,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's not stopping. It's just continue to move forward in whatever capacity that looks like for you. So that's
And also managing your
yeah,
expectations, understanding that if it's a slow burn to get back, it's going to be a slow burn on
right,
everything
right.
else. But understand that that's just where you are in that moment. Because I think that's probably the biggest theme in this whole thing is managing your
Hmm.
expectations. If your 80% or your 100% is what normally 80% looks like, but that's still your 100% in the moment, that's cool. You're still showing up, but understand that you're probably going to only get 80% of the results, but that's just the season
Yeah,
that you're in, and that's
yeah,
okay. Don't ever let anybody tell you that that's not okay.
exactly. See,
It doesn't have to look any type
no,
of way.
no, and just keep emphasizing this, that Carmi and I are both in different seasons of life, different places. We've been at it for different periods of time. And that's not to say that it's not easy for us, because we talk about it all the time on our stories, right? Like, it's all
Yeah.
of,
All this week, I didn't want to do the
yeah,
things. I was moody. It's Shark Week. I'm like, for everybody, I don't want to do this. Like, why do I still choose to do this? Because those thoughts go through my mind all the time. Why am I doing this? Because honestly, it's work. It is work. But at the end of the day, I know it's what makes me
yeah,
feel good. I don't want to spend all weekend meal prepping and ingredient prepping and getting groceries put away. But guess what? I have a 9 to 5, and I know if I leave that to the week, when I get home from work at 5:30, I'm gonna be pissed off at
yeah.
the world, and I'm going to take it out
It's
on
a domino
everybody
effect.
else. So let's not do that. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's just be organized and do what I need to do. Let me go do the things I have to do to make sure that I stay feeling good and I stay quote unquote optimal for my mental well-being and my physical
Right, right.
well-being.
And it's just like everything, systems, your own systems that you establish, they just take time. It all comes back again. We'll keep saying this: practice, reps, and what works for you. So, yeah, come back from vacation and just get back into it however you can, whatever that means to you.
Get groceries
Yeah,
ordered,
like I,
because that's what I do. When I come back from vacation, I have groceries already ordered, because then now, oh, the groceries at my doorstep. I guess I better
yeah, like
deal
I'll
with
be
them.
going back and have my grocery order ready to pick up on my way home from the airport, because I don't want to be struggling with figuring out what to eat for breakfast, or, like what my kids like to eat, and then eating out for dinner, then eating out for breakfast, and then having to go get groceries and deal with all of that, right? No, it just comes home with us,
Mm-hmm.
and we're back at it. So, like nothing changed,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah, wow,
Yes, ma'am.
that was it was
That was good.
good.
I hope that was
Yeah,
helpful for
yeah.
everybody. Yeah,
Woo!
look at us. I'm so proud of us. Our whole, now we're at 12 listeners are going to like what
Yeah,
we have to
yeah.
say.
We keep teasing it like, oh my God, you guys are missing out on so much, but you are.
It listen, I think that we have good
Yeah.
perspective. We've got that mom perspective, and we're both moms navigating different life periods.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
hopefully it helps
Yeah.
somebody, and I'm sure it
Well, with
will.
that, thanks for listening, guys. And we'll see.
All
Yeah,
right,
we'll see
take
you
care,
next time.
everybody.
Bye.